time to start sound testing by talking. And let's see if we can actually tell we're doing anything. Okay, I just went live. I pushed the button. My phone is not caught up with us yet.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on
Yeah,
Twitch.
I swear I pushed the button.
I see it on Twitch.
Okay, cool.
It's got the like plate screen.
Yeah, it should be the "We'll begin in a moment" screen, and on my actual Twitch, on my computer desktop, hopefully some things.
I can hear all three of us.
Hey, cool. That's so much an improvement over what we've had the last 2 weeks, and this is entirely my fault. No one else is ever at fault with the audio. It can only be me. So, in a second here, once I can tell that my stream is up on my screen, I will feel confident in switching windows. Or views, let's say views. Does anyone else have the experience where you have to watch an ad when you watch your own channel?
I don't have a channel.
Well, should you? I think technically by default when you exist on Twitch, you have a channel, but if you ever go and look at it, and then you have to watch a video, and my video is someone...
That's fun.
Yeah, and they're drinking ranch dressing right now.
What?
I mean, I can't support this morally, and then also I have to watch an advertisement, and I'm upset about both. So we are now on a live screen where everyone can see our faces, and we're ready for Numenera Untold Legacy. We have with us today Quick. So we've got two players, one of whom is new, and one of whom is, I'm not going to say old, but has previously been on the channel.
Consistent.
Consistent for sure. That's very fair. Okay. And now I have my notifications off, so my screen won't buzz at us. So that's all set. Okay, let's start with Kyle, because he's on the top of my overlay. So do you want to talk about yourself at all, or talk about your character? Maybe a character sentence.
Sure. I'm Kyle. I'm excited to play Jackie, who is a charming Jack who manipulates gravity in the way of longing to fly.
It's very nice. We've kind of skinned the focus, so it sounds better. I love that. And Quick, do you want to talk about yourself and your character?
I am Quixotic, and I am playing a character named Garamedes. He goes by Gary for short, and he is a mad nano who speaks to the data sphere.
Very nice.
So you might hear him mumbling to himself, or you might think he's mumbling to himself.
I probably
he's
would think
not.
he's mumbling to himself, but that's because I mumble to myself. So just in real life, you know.
He's actually mumbling to an alternate reality that we can't perceive, and it's a rather heated and intense conversation.
The thing that is so cool about Numenera is when you say something like that, it's absolutely possible, and there's no reason not to just go with it, and you gotta
Right.
love anything that lets you do that.
Yes, I'm excited.
So, we're talking about a Numenera Untold Legacy. So we've done 2 official sessions of this game up until now. What's come to pass until this point, there is a mother colony somewhere out in the beyond that has placed now a seed colony near a great crater in the ground. In this seed colony, there are 2 major factions. One is called the Splendid Form, and they are a group of basically venture capitalists that have latched onto a particularly inventive inventor, and they tend to market their inventions and better themselves through the use of his technologies. Their technologies, I should say. I think we've chosen their, yeah. And if you look at the Roll20, Kyle's doing us the service of dropping a little ping on that. And then our other group is the Silent Chorus, who are all the exact same height. They all wear the exact same uniform, which is a hooded, like, robe. Like just a long black robe. Maybe gray. I think I've said gray. And their leader is named Kylabri, who wears a similar version of the robe, but also with an open front, exposing his bare chest, their bare chest, and crimson pants. And they are a very different group of folks. So... they tend to do everything in unison and always have the same opinion, and the Silent Chorus does not speak except for Kylabri. In between those 2 groups, kind of like the peanut butter to our sandwich here, has been our group of Jackie, our charming Jack. We've had Tenlau, who is a delve, and a right, and I don't remember Tenlau's sentence, so I'm just going to skip that for now. And Paragon 9, who is our delve, and they have been kind of like keeping these 2 pieces of the community talking to one another and functioning more or less. Their latest venture has been creating a community hall, a city hall, which is this big blue square in the middle of our town map. I should probably get a label, right, Kyle? I should probably do that. And then, which we're going to call finished as of this session. Since we're lacking both our write and our delve, we'll assume that they were doing things that are harmonious and good for the community. Some of the things that we know happen in this area that are difficult. This big chasm that we last game saw that there was some old buildings or ruins that exist down at the floor of the chasm, and there's kind of a cloak or a mask that goes over the valley, most of which is a mist, but it also takes place in lapses in time. So suddenly the time will shift in the area. And in the last session, we started with the players having lost 4 weeks, 7 hours. Was that right? Yeah, so that was fun for them. And now we find ourselves dealing with a new visitor to the settlement. So, let's talk about how your character might relate to this group and how they've come to be here. So, what are you thinking about?
I had the idea that Gary is kind of a wanderer, and so like he wanders from town to town, and he's all about the Numenera. Like he wants to find as much of it as he can, and so he goes to a settlement and he asks around and tries to figure out like what they have that's interesting and if it's something that he could get for himself. And if they don't, he goes to the next place. And so I would assume for this, he probably just happened to wander in, hoping to find something worthwhile.
So that can definitely be a thing we do. Things you might think about in planning that way. If you go through the surrounding territory, we've already discussed as one of our negative features of this area that the terrain is both very difficult and it is also home to many dangerous beasts. So like a direct overland approach is probably pretty bad. Another option you have that you might want to take is that the mother colony does have a teleporter or a transporter that leads directly here. So I don't know if you think your character would make some sort of like, exchange with the mother colony to go directly here, or if you think you would go an overland route.
I don't see why he wouldn't use the teleporter. I feel like he would maybe discuss like, oh, there's something awesome going on there. Like, all right, let's get me there, and maybe trade one of his less interesting bits of a cipher or bits of Numenera, or maybe even pull apart some iotum and give pay for it that way to get to this location.
Yeah, sounds good. And the mother colony, there seems to be activity going on there. Something you're going to know about that you might want to share with Jackie as you see them is that in the mother colony, there seems to be some concern over however the seed colony is developing. They seem to be going along at an okay pace, but also not releasing a lot of information back to the mother colony or communicating to them. There is a person whose name is Verathon, and Verathon leads a group called the Broken Arrow. They seem to you very militaristic, they're very intense personally. And their current concern is that whatever is going on at the seed colony, that there may be individuals that are working against the best interests of a seed colony because they don't get the kind of reporting and information sharing that they expect. So you actually had a very easy time trading for passage to go to the seed colony, with the understanding that perhaps you would like to share more information or encourage them to share information.
Definitely.
So with that, with a crackle and a thrum and that unusual kind of shifting and waving of the air that happens as a portal opens, right about
does the sound of like doodaloo doodaloo doodaloo
for you, Kyle, anything, of course, right here where this big purple ping is happening, we hear the doodaloo as the portal begins to open, and there's that crackle of energy, and it's gone instantaneously because unlike the last time where we transported almost 100 people, this time there is a single person that walks through the portal.
And that doodaloo is just Gary making the noise and the fingers, because he loves teleporting.
That makes sense, and I'm sure that memes somewhere exist on the data sphere, so we've got that. So let's.
So he like, he just shows up and he's like already like dry washing his hands, like.
Perfect. Let's do some physical descriptions. Let's start with Garamedes, and then we'll go on to Jackie.
All right. Garamedes is he's got kind of like a really fancy like lab coat type deal with like buckles and all that stuff. His hair is just all over the place, and I'll probably stick with what I had come up before too, where he's got a beard too, and it's also just a like think of oh, what is it from Lord of the Rings, the brown wizard. What the hell is his name?
Radagast?
Radagast, yeah. Think of that, like just a warren of just beard, and he's kind of got like a little bit of a hunch going to him, and like a little eye twitch, and kind of like Weasley in his movements.
And then perched atop the city hall, perhaps?
Yeah, probably usually up high.
Yeah.
Is Jackie, with his with their digigrade legs, with chicken type clawed feet, really long arms, probably twice the length, like twice a body length, that fold up. But there's no feathers or anything like that. Just really long fingers. They look reminiscent of wings, but would never be something that you could fly with. They're just really long arms, and the character's quite tall too, probably like 6'10" or so, but very thin and spindly. And the face is quite similar, reminiscent to the mask I'm wearing right now, but he's got kind of a beak-like protrusion from a mouth that causes him to click when he talks. And they seem to be some sort of mutant or alien potential character.
Nice.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So, we have our two characters seeing each other. Now, off in the distance, you have, again, to this, let's say, character right. We've got the silent chorus, or there are these big square buildings, and the people who are moving around there, they're all wearing those long hooded robes. I can't make my map ping right now, so there it goes. There it goes. So the silent chorus, they're just people in long hooded robes walking along very calmly, casually. They're going across your path, some of them carrying buckets of water on poles. They don't seem to have noticed you at all. In the other direction, facing the river, there's a assortment of different rectangular shaped buildings that are all very ostentatious. They're kind of different colors. They've got ornamentations that have been hung from the outside. And you see a group of people wearing long robes. They're typically all brocaded and heavy with jewelry. And additionally, there are several Lattimore. So you have several like large bipedal ape-type people that are yellowish orange in color. And they seem to be following along behind them in kind of a subservient posture. There's also a very large aircraft that is very near to where the dropship is landed.
Nice. All right, so Gary would probably get off the teleportation pad and walk right up to the building that Jackie's perched on, and just kind of look up and like, you look like you're in charge. What's where would I find Numenera?
Jackie jumps off the roof and hovers down and says, "Yes, thank you. You are the first to recognize that I am in charge. This is a glorious day."
Well, you're obviously the highest up.
That's why. That's exactly why I was doing that. I am overjoyed that you recognized it. What is your name, good friend? I am Jackie.
I'm Garamedes, but most people call me Gary.
Oh, because it comes first. All right, that works for me. Gary it is, and you're here for Numenera?
Always.
Well, we have a dropship. We can go find some.
Oh, do you have any like around? Just lying around?
Probably.
I kind of just came like a long way.
Yes.
Shall we discuss the surrounding area? So if we're taking a tour of the map, if you go over to the map right, there's an area where it's labeled Broken Tech. This is a whole series of pieces of machines, very large pieces that have started to be broken down for IOTM. I've heard during our last break, I believe that was going to be what our delve focuses on. So all of this broken tech, it was probably very good Numenera at one point, but it has all been broken down into components. The kind of things that are invaluable, worth a lot of money, great. It's excellent that somebody did that for community, but useless for you. So, and then if we go map left, we have, again, the same sort of thing. There's an area that's labeled supply dump over here, and someone did the same thing to all of these Numenera. It looks like at one point they were very large spheres, like probably, 7-8 feet around as a, like a diameter. And so now that you see them, they've all been hollowed out, and there's a very nice pile of IOTM that's been left over to the side. So again, another pile of ruined Numenera. Over on the map top, there's a group where it says Lattimore buildings. Those are Lattimore buildings. They're very large. They look kind of like mushrooms. And then there's this chasm that goes to map right. And this just seems to go down into an endless crater filled with mist. But you see no signs of really available Numenera at this point.
Well, this is very disappointing. I was led to believe by this really intense dude named Varathon that there was going to be some good shit here.
Is Varathon doing well?
Well, they're not very happy.
Is his tyrannical hold over the rest of his people still strong and resolute?
That is an amazing description and very apt.
Oh, I miss him.
He seems to be a little upset that you guys aren't talking to him.
Oh, I didn't know we could.
I don't know. He seemed to give me the impression that was a possibility.
Yee. Well.
Do you have people that work for you that maybe know more about that?
I don't really have anyone that works for me. I have two friends that came along with me on this trip, and I'm excited to... Oh, they are busy today. That's right. They said that they were working on tech stuff.
Wait, I'm confused. If you're in charge, doesn't everybody work for you here?
Yes. Yes, that is right. Everyone is working for me, but they all have very important jobs that I don't know much about.
So they do your bidding? They can make
I'm
contact
not a
back?
despot king. I'm like the mayor, and I have mayoral jobs to do to bring the community together and build the wall.
You just see him kind of like look up, like he's listening to something. Oh, okay, yeah, mayor, okay.
Excellent. That's why we built this city hall, the big building that is behind me. It is our first glorious achievement as a unified group.
It is very perfectly proportioned.
Oh, we tried to get it a little bit not perfect. It is more of a rectangle than a square, but it is quite still the square. It is very hard to appease both the splendid form and the silent chorus, but we are trying.
Well, I don't care if it's a
suddenly.
perfect square. I just like perfect angles.
Right. Angles. Right angles. We have only found one piece of Numenera recently, but we have not traveled far and about the area. We could take the dropship and do a quick sortie to the north or south. We have not gone very far to the south to see what lies about. I am sorry that most of the Numenera has already been broken down into more functional pieces. This is what I was told.
But you know someone that can put it back together, maybe, right?
Yes. Oh, they are great friends of mine. 9 and 10.
What?
Oh, Paragon 9 and 10 Lao. 9 and 10.
Oh, okay. I thought you had like clones or something.
That would be amazing.
Clones are always good. Just don't make them of yourself, because then you'll just sit there arguing around in a circle.
Right. Yes. I don't know as I would do that, but maybe I would.
Well, when you're trying to like do a lot of work and you kind of only trust yourself to do the thing properly, you clone yourself. But then they think like you, and you kind of butt heads. I had to kill them all.
Well, the dropship is right over here.
Okay.
It is. It's right over there. So the good news is you do have this very nice dropship, which has a canopy. And as you go over to it, so it's an enclosed ship. It just lifts itself off the ground. It looks like it could seat up to 4 people. And there's a very simple control display in the front, which you could probably intuit with minimal effort.
I am sorry, there are still no canapes.
It's a running gag.
Again.
We got to keep it up.
Again, he looks up. Oh, okay.
Can you fly this? I can't.
Maybe? He
Oh,
sits
good.
down at the controls and...
Jackie sits down in their accustomed spot.
So Jackie is in the very back.
Let's go.
So, am I able to figure this out, or?
So you have the option of basically pushing an auto play button, like just a go button, or else if you want to really make this thing do what you're hoping to have it do, it's probably like a difficulty 2 roll. And then if you had to actually physically maneuver it, it's going to be a speed test versus an intellect test.
Okay. So I can do that roll then.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an 11.
Piece of cake. So with that, you've got the dropship. It lifts up off of the ground. It starts sailing out, and the direction it's going right now is in the direction of the chasm. So it's going off here into the distance where all of this mist is. That seems to be, maybe it's a pre-plotted course or something like that. But yeah, just going out that direction.
I definitely know what I'm doing.
Oh, good. What a great day for a ride.
Yeah.
So are you gonna like point out the points of interest?
To your left is the tetrahydra nest, where our friends the tetrahydras live. Their garbage vomit is delicious. To your right is the crazy Numenera we discovered last time and have since broken down because we were dumb. In front of you is places I've never been, and below you is dangers we have yet to face.
A very
Thus
good job.
concludes your tour with Jackie. I hope you've enjoyed flying Dropship Air. Literally, you are doing the flying. Don't clap your hands, you have to hold the wheel.
Sorry.
And you don't actually have to fly holding onto the control stick or anything like that. Just so we're clear, you've got the autopilot working pretty well at this point. But you do have this nice chasm that's below you. There is a pretty good sensor suite on this craft, and from what you can see, there is a lot of unusual activity below you. And there is a sensor that you may or may not expect to be on a craft like this, which is a temporal sensor that seems to be measuring spikes in temporal energy. And it is going like this really regularly. It kind of like jumps to 100%, then drops down to 30, then jumps up to 100, then drops down to 10. It's going pretty much crazy this whole time.
That is a good sign.
Yeah, in the distance below the mist.
Awesome.
You can see there's a little bit of like maybe a domed structure or something like that, but you're seeing it from a distance of, if we decided, about 600 meters up. So if you just keep going down, you can probably touch bottom. But at this distance, everything is ants. It's hard to tell what's what.
You want to go check that out? It looks interesting.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good. Yes, then let's do that.
Sometimes I talk to the ship too. I understand their confusion. You know, you
You
gotta.
were looking forward. I was sitting back here. It was.
He's like rubbing the ship. He's like, sometimes you gotta get you gotta get to know the ship. You know.
Yes.
He just takes them down, I guess.
You should meet Paragon 9. He plugs into the ship.
Ooh, I don't think any of us should be around when that happens. That seems a little personal.
It didn't seem personal. It seemed very professional. But that again is Paragon 9.
Okay.
So we're starting up here with our first group of buildings or structures down below the surface. So, like you're dropping in a submarine, you're descending down, and there's mist all around you. It's just like gently waving and roiling in the distance. And as you keep going down farther and farther, it gets thicker. And then, as you can feel with the sensors or tell with the sensors that you're reaching the bottom of the chasm, you suddenly, it's like the mist parts just a little bit around the viewports, and you can see large white dome-topped buildings. Imagine like Capitol buildings from the like 1800s. So they've all got rounded tops and then very smooth walls that go down to the bottom. And you see 4 of them in this vicinity. They're all very intact. And the drop.
As we're going down, Gary would have pulled out a little vial and tried to like capture some of the mist.
Okay, you're gonna stick your hand out of the drop ship and try to capture some mist. No problem.
Yeah.
You do that.
He's just like, I'll save this for later.
I think you missed it.
Ooh.
I don't get that reference.
So you
All
have
right,
landed the drop ship.
These look very interesting.
Yes, I can hardly see anything, but it's amazing.
And again, in a very Barovian fashion, everything outside of these 4 buildings is heavily obscured by the mist. You can't see if things really go into the distance. There is kind of a vague path that seems to lead towards the center of the chasm. I'm going to drop a line for that too. Let's do the line. Okay, here we go. And the line kind of like, come on thing. Do the line.
Behave, roll 20.
I know, drawing a line is apparently hard. One more time.
It's usually better if you use a credit card or a razor blade.
There we
You can
go.
get
Oof.
a much finer line.
Luckily, I'm going to pretend like I didn't understand that joke. And we'll just no, so we've got this this line. Everything snaps to a grid. All right, there we go. We have this line that's kind of like a general path that seems to lead out into the distance, but the mist gets really heavy beyond these 4 buildings, and it seems to be much more palpable and physical. So you've got roughly 2 on your left and 2 on your right.
To the left?
Before we do anything, I'm going to try to use my, for my focus, I have an ability called Knowledge Tap, where it says, except in places where your access is cut off from the data sphere, you can tap in briefly and learn a bit more about something you can see. So it says, like, I get an asset on a task involving that person or object. So he's going to try to, like, tap into the data sphere and figure out, like, if there's any information about these buildings.
I am so on board.
So you
with
kind of
that.
have Numenera version of Google Glass.
Kind of.
It's good stuff. So I think the first thing that we should do in this case is make an intellect defense test.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah, and I think that we're going to call this a difficulty of 4. And it looks like you have an inability with this, huh?
Mental attacks, yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be less fun. This is a overwhelming sensation, is what we're going to be dealing with here. So we're dealing with a level 4 that became a level 5 task. How do you want to resolve that?
Well, I will definitely use a level of effort
Okay.
to help drop that back down to a 4.
Yep.
I don't really know if I have much else I can do about that except
Okay.
roll.
Yeah, that's fine. And if you want to use a character sheet, if you pull up Garamidi's character sheet right now, it has these green buttons over to the side. Kyle, are the green buttons where we get to actually use the action window, or is it the red buttons? Which one did we figure
It's
out?
the green buttons.
Okay, so it has an area here below your stat pools. It's grayed out, and it says action here. So you can set the difficulty. So you could leave it as a difficulty
okay.
4, and then you can use the skill. You can put an I there for inability. And if you want to spend a level of effort on the task, you do that on the left hand of the 2 windows.
Okay.
And then from there, you can just go ahead and roll. And the nice thing is all those things are right there laid out for you.
And I'm clicking the green one next to the intellect.
Exactly.
All right.
And see, then we get a much more like detailed picture of how this went.
Yeah.
So,
That's not good.
well, this is how things go, right? When you're rolling a roll. So here's what has happened. And by the way, I'm totally giving you an experience point for this intrusion. I should have just said this should be an intrusion because I feel like it is. And then I think that
Nice.
Jackie's going to get this other experience point by default. So, hey, Jackie, you have an experience point. We're dealing with an intrusion right now, which is your data sphere sync. You're locked in. The problem is you just went back about 1,500 years. So
Jesus.
you've just had this tremendous info lag where suddenly you found yourself, yeah, you know exactly what's going on here in this spot, but also simultaneously you're in the past. And you're dealing with this from the perspective of somebody who is 1,500 years younger. This civilization is fine. Everything is thriving. You know what all four of these buildings are and what their functions are. They're all like business type buildings, civic type buildings, rather than being like personal residences. And you know what to expect from the overlay of this town, but also you're trying to deal with actually existing 1,500 years in the future.
So, like, as he's doing that, his eyes go wide, and then he's like, "Good day, good day,"
so
saying hi to people that Jackie can't see.
Yeah, and I think we're going to deal with it by giving you an asset to dealing with everything in this community down here on the ground floor, and
Oh, nice.
simultaneously costing you 5 intellect points.
Oof. And that's above and beyond the level of effort I spent.
Correct, though it did look like you didn't take off for your edge.
Well, my ability costs 1 point, so
Oh, I see. Okay, well, then you have an edge for that, right? Or was it usually a 2 and you only had to spend 1?
the knowledge tap only costs 1, so that was free.
Right.
And then because I'm spending my effort, I can't use the edge for my effort.
Oh, you're so good at paying attention to the actual rules. Good show.
So that's a total of 8 off of that. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a
Oof,
kind of a
that hurt.
beat down right there immediately, but everything else is okay in the area, and otherwise you're having a great time and you know exactly what to look for.
Did you need to take an action to recover?
No, I'm okay for now.
I would almost feel bad if I didn't see that you started with 20 intellect points, so then I'm like,
Yeah.
you're going to have fun. You're going to do fine.
I dumped a lot of my points into intellect, and then because of my descriptor and focus, I got a lot.
Heck
So
yeah. I mean, no one wants to play balanced character. Where's the fun in that?
But that's what I am. Oh.
oh,
It's okay. You still haven't spent any advances, so you can totally break that model. Don't worry.
Never.
Two
So
in
yeah,
this,
so
two
you-
in this, two in this.
he has like a little bit of blood like come out of his ear, and he's just a little bit wide-eyed and just kind of starts walking towards one of the buildings.
Okay.
He kind of completely forgot that Jackie was there.
Yeah. So what's your preference? Where do you want to go?
Probably to the left,
Yeah.
like the bigger building on the left.
This one that's farther back here. So the reason this building
This
is
one right
farther
here.
back, yeah,
Yeah.
like that, is because it has an elaborate, like, tiled, frescoed, well, not frescoed. It has, like, a tile mosaic floor all around it. So it's actually very elaborate and ornate, and the reason that it is so is because this is a museum.
Nice.
And the best part is, it's a museum of ancient technologies.
Is the fresco still there?
Yeah,
I mean,
so
the
this
mosaic?
building is totally intact, and you have this mosaic on the ground still. So it's beautiful, and it depicts, like, it's a lot of, like, very long straight lines, and then smaller, like, circular patterns. And for Garamedes, this is like a pictogram. So you're looking at one big word, which means possibility. For Jackie, it's super pretty.
This is very pretty. Jackie effortlessly leaps out of the dropship, floats over to Garamedes, and notices the blood trickling out of one ear, and decides maybe something's going on with Gary, but doesn't bring it up.
Because that would be rude.
Maybe this is a regular occurrence.
That's true. So yeah, I feel like Garamedes, caught up in the moment, would start like walking around the spiral, just enjoying himself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of greens and oranges here, so it's like kind of like a weird clashing color, but the pieces are so small that it's like, it comes up with kind of like a nice balance in the end.
He's like playing with kids that Jackie can't see that are also playing in this world.
Yeah.
But it seems to fit with Gary previously anyway, and is mumbling into the data sphere. So Jackie's just like, that's Gary.
Let's all take a moment and appreciate the friend who, no matter how weird you get, will still hang out with you and like go with your bit. Because I think we all need that at times.
Right. Oh, jeez. He's like, all right, enough. I gotta see this museum.
It's a museum?
Wait, where'd that come from?
Hello, I'm right behind you.
He kind of like blinks and like kind of sees you now. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the majority
Hey,
of your intellect damage is trying to focus on these two time streams at the same time.
It's okay, Gary. Lead on.
Sure. This is a museum. It's got some good shit in it.
Great.
Yeah.
It's like a poop museum? I'm confused.
Its final exhibit that you see being posted for this museum is a crystal that was being described as a resonator.
Ooh. This is gonna be a good time. Forward.
Yes. Okay. Do I see the resonator as well?
Well, so that's a great question. So far, you've seen the building. You all are walking
Yeah.
directly into it now. And as you go towards the doors, they don't function. They don't open or do anything like that. They look like the sort of doors that would just part effortlessly as someone approaches, but they're not moving right now.
Okay.
And they're like a smoky, opaque material. So right now, you can't actually see what's happening inside. For Garamedes, there's a poster or like a digital frame to the right of the doorway, and it does describe the resonator. And again, this is some sort of language that has a lot of pictograms that you seem to be having no problem with, and Jackie, you've not seen before.
So as they get up to the door and the door doesn't open, he's kind of like, "Oh, I don't have a ticket. You think you could help us out here?" Talking to a ticket taker that isn't actually there.
Yeah, of course. I'll walk over and try to force the doors open.
Okay, so physical might forcing the doors open, or jury rigging of some kind, or what's your thought?
I think Jackie's going to attempt some sort of actual physical might check. Actually do a physical thing. Since I have not done
I'm so on board with that. Let's do a physical might thing. Okay, the doors are physically closed. The difficulty of this is 3.
All right, I am spending effort on might to reduce my pool by 3 to have a effort in here. So that's 1. You said the difficulty is 3.
That's correct.
I am not trained in this, right?
Are you trained in opening doors or might tasks like this? I don't really think you would be.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not something that I'm trained in, but I don't think I have any inabilities. Is that something that I should have?
I don't think so. I think you'd be in the U, which is the untrained, unless you want to use your flex skill to be trained at opening doors for today or something like that. Let's face it, in a role-playing game, this is one of the 2 real enemies, is the door, so...
Right?
Yeah. Maybe what I'll do is say Jackie's skill of today is forcing it open.
Yeah, you can say feats of strength. I'm fine with that as being a skill.
Yeah, let's do that for today, and then that moves me to being trained in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. We've got it was difficulty 3. I've expended effort, and I am trained. So I really only need to roll a 3 or higher, right?
That's awesome. Yep.
Now that I've said that, let's roll a 2.
Oh, look at that. You had a whole 8.
Lovely. But I definitely needed to do both of those things.
I do really love when you get the role breakdown though. So I think this is a great way for people to see how the system works. So I'm going to nerd out for 2 seconds here. The thing I like is it shows you first off what a difficulty level is and how it relates to a number.
Yeah.
Then it shows you what your actual difficulty was, how being trained, having assets, effort all help. And so I think all those things together. I really like being able to see the breakdown.
Yeah, I love it in Roll20. It makes me feel, and then I like the descriptive element of this is that we negotiate the game's the difficulties in the checks. It's not just like, all right, roll me a d20 and let's see what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all I need to say about that. So We're good here. So we have this door, which has been physically opened. Now, it shouldn't have been difficult to open this door. This may have been like a level 2 door usually, but the problem that you're feeling, Jackie, that you felt before, is what happens when you try to move something that is stuck in time. And you recall you had the previous experience of trying to touch one of the silent choruses, they were stuck, and then they suddenly catapulted forward. In this case, as soon as you touch the doors and you get just a minimum amount of force going, they snap apart. And they don't just fly to the ends of their enclosures, they actually just disintegrate.
Oh. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, thank you.
Oh, wow. I was so much stronger than I thought I was.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're a really good negotiator.
Thank you.
So in our interior room here, it's a circular room. Everything's laid out so that you have what looks like a stairwell that goes over to the right, and you have an entrance counter over to your left. And then the center of the room is taken up by like a series of stanchions. They're a little bit more futuristic than the ones you'd think of. So they're just like metal poles that seem to have some sort of force projection around them. But then in the center, there's a very large crystal that's nicely cut, well faceted, and it's standing on a pedestal. And there are signs around it that describe this resonator.
That's the ticket.
So yes, okay. You used a ticket twice in different ways.
So, we're gonna need a distraction so we can try to boost this item.
Why? There's no one here.
What are you talking about? There's security guards everywhere.
You're fibbing me. It is just you and I.
Oh, can you not see them?
You can see other people?
It must have some stealth tech that I can look through.
Oh, yes, doubtlessly. I am the one who is wrong. What should we do then?
You think you could carry this item?
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right, so I'll make a distraction,
Okay.
and you grab the thing and run.
Why don't we back the dropship up over here, right up to the doors, and then we don't have to carry it too far.
But that'll draw too much attention. People will see that a ship is parked where it's not supposed to be.
We have a permit. I'll tell them that. It's very easy.
Oh, you have a permit?
Why not? I'll just tell them that. I mean, no, I don't really have a permit. We've never been here before.
Well, I just arrived. I don't know what you have access to.
That's very fair, yes.
Okay, I'll stay here and keep an eye on the guards. You go get the dropship and meet me back here.
Okay. Oh my. Oh my. Now I have to fly the dropship.
That's right. And Kyle, I don't know how you have your volume tuned, but I think you could bring it up just a little bit if you wanted to.
Oh, sure.
So,
Is that better?
yeah. So with what we're dealing with right now, so the dropship has a control stick, and you can physically move the dropship.
Okay.
It's not that difficult. There's a lot of assistive features here, and you have the equivalent of a futuristic backup camera. So if you want to just back this thing in, you can do that, and it's a level 2 speed test.
Okay. Let's do a level 2 speed test. Pull my character sheet up. All right. With a level 2 speed test, I will reduce my pool and spend effort on that. And difficulties 2. I'm untrained. All right.
Very nice.
There we go.
Kyle, as a player, I appreciate how you always spend effort on rolls. It's very good.
He loves when you tire yourself out.
No, I think it's great because I can see like Kyle really puts stuff into trying all of these different things that could seem like they're totally inconsequential, but he really doesn't want to back a dropship up into a museum and destroy the front doors, which is great. I mean,
Which are already destroyed.
That is helpful.
But at the same, failure is great, and the chance is still there. But if
Sure.
I can mitigate chance, and because we only play for a couple of hours, you don't get to use the whole pool up too often. So, I found it anyway. The
Yeah.
dropship is backed up, guys. I did it.
I just imagine now that Jackie is going to be like really cocky about the dropship. Like every time now, it's like, no, I'll fly.
No, I'll back it up.
So while Jackie's doing that, Gary's kind of just like wandering around the resonator, trying not to look suspicious, but also keeping an eye on the guards that he can see.
yeah. So there are just 3 people who look like they're uniformed, like they might be security guards, but they are just standing right around this floor. So with that, everything seems more or less okay, and the dropship gets backed up just to the very front door, or where the door was, and now you're all set.
Okay, you got it done? That's good. That's good. All right. Ready for the distraction. So you'll know when it happens. And then he just turns and just runs around the room screaming, "Ah!"
So that's happening.
He's just running around an empty room, screaming his head off.
Yeah.
Like, look at me! I'm a crazy person!
Okay, Jackie just walks up and grabs the resonator.
Yeah, you've done that. You're holding it. It's heavy. It's about 50 pounds of crystal, and you're just holding it.
And just go put it in the dropship.
Yep. And you just dump. Dropship can handle that, no problem.
Great. Put it in the dropship. In the seat I normally sit in, and I buckle it up.
Yes, that's good.
Oh, God. So Gary runs out expecting you to be in the pilot seat. He's like, punch it! Punch it!
If you're like buckling in the resonator, that's great.
Yeah, I've the baby Bjorn the resonator into the dropship.
He just like runs, jumps onto the ship like he's expecting it to be taking off while he's jumping, and just lands on his stomach. It's like, sees you sitting in the back like, what are you doing? They're right on my tail!
They are? I look back.
His tail is
I
fine.
forget you can't see them! So he like, picks himself up like, oh! Sits in the pilot seat and tries to lift back up.
Oh yeah.
Are
that
they
happens.
chasing you?
Yes!
I don't know what to do.
Well, right now the dropship's just gently rising back into the mist now.
Sounds lovely.
He's just like looking over the side like, oh, good. Woo. That was
there's
close.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Were the guards moving around and looking in different places and whatnot?
You have no idea how close it was. You're lucky you can't see them. Because my heart...
Well, I am glad that you were here and you could see them.
Damn right.
Mm-hmm.
I got it.
So we have an egg.
Resonator.
Right. Did you look at the display to see what they thought it was and what it did and all the other things? That feels like we just went in and stole something and left.
Well, it was the main attraction. Like, it's got to be worthwhile.
Fair. Very, very fair. I'm excited. Are we going right back to the village, or are we just gonna, hover here for a little bit and then go maybe explore some more? That is a very big beard.
Thank you. Maybe we don't put all our eggs in one basket. Maybe we bring this back, check it out, and then go see if we can get some more. Let the heat die down.
Is it? I touched the resonator.
Not hot.
Well, I don't really understand these things, so whatever you'd like to do, I'm comfortable with.
Okay, cool. You're very amenable for a boss.
I trust the people who are around me to do the things that they are good at doing. I think that's what a good boss does.
He just like looks up. He's like, "You hear that? You don't have to yell all the time."
So you all have reached a level now above the chasm lip. And are you redocking with the settlement, or are you going to stay out here hovering?
You're probably redock with the settlement.
Sure. So you bring it over to the dropship landing pad, and once you've gotten there, you've got the resonator all strapped in, and yourselves, and that's about it.
You have like a blanket or something to hide this?
Why would we need to hide it?
Because we just stole it.
But we stole it from a place that's like really, really old and dusty. There weren't any people there. I think we're fine.
Again, you couldn't see them, but they were there.
But
You're gonna want this back.
When I touched the door and forced it open, and as a result, it caught back up in time with us and just exploded into dust.
What?
Yeah, the doors that I opened.
We just talked to the ticket taker, and he opened the door for us.
Oh, I don't remember doing that. Yeah. Well, I mean, we can get a blanket if that would make you feel better.
Wait a second. Were you not able to see the ticket taker too?
No, I could not see the ticket taker.
That
There
seems
were no
weird.
people down there. It was very devoid of life.
Seems weird to have everybody have stealth technology. Especially if you want to collect tickets from people. Most people should be able to see you.
I had a grandfather who liked to tell long stories when he was shaving with his razor. His name was Occam, and he would always say that the easiest and most direct solution is probably the true solution.
That sounds like a good story.
I thought for sure I'd get a laugh out of Hans.
I enjoyed it. I appreciated it. So now, what are you going to do with this resonator? Are you going to bring it anywhere? Is there a blanket on top of it?
Yeah, there's no blanket on the resonator, and we'll carry it into City Hall, and we'll go into the large room and fiddle with it.
That's good. The large room is the one that's not under construction. So in the distance you hear some like vague building and printing sounds, but right now it's pretty quiet in here. And you have the resonator under a blanket sitting atop a table.
Yep. There we go.
All right. Let's see what this thing might be able to do. So I also have, as part of my Speaks to the Data Sphere, a machine interface ability that says the difficulty of discerning the level, function, and activation of Numenera devices that you touch is decreased by 1 step for 1 minute.
Nice. Okay, so between that and you being a nano, I'm thinking we're looking at like a level 1 task to tell what this thing does.
Excellent. All right, so difficulty 1. I am...
Oh, and you know
We're
what?
gonna say
You have
untrained
an
for
asset
this.
on things that were going on down below there. So if you want, I don't know. Do we count that as a Numenera? Maybe not. Maybe we'll just keep it as a level 1 task.
Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's tough
Very
to fail at a level 1.
Well, you know, it can happen, but you didn't have it. So this is a big crystal, and at one point this was probably like, what's the best word to put it? Like a communications relay, where if you were to send signal into this, it would amplify signal and send it out to a greater distance and so forth. That was probably the original purpose of this piece of technology. if you were to use it for other things, you could probably break it down for any number of purposes as a Numenera.
Okay, so this thing right here, that the museum called a resonator, it basically lets you talk to places far away, or receive stuff from far away.
Oh, wonderful.
This is useless to me.
Why? But then we could communicate with Verathon.
Oh yeah. I guess you could do that if you really want to. He was a little too intense for me, so I just said whatever I needed to get here. I wasn't actually planning on talking to him again.
Sounds like how most people deal with Verathon.
So yeah, I guess if you want it, you can have it.
Well, we should set it up here so that we can use it to communicate with the base colony.
Okay.
Do you know how to help set it up to do that?
I can like activate it.
Okay.
So would that require another roll to activate it, or?
I'm not really feeling like it would, are you? I feel like we can just roll this into what we've got. You know how it's supposed to work.
Okay. So he like kind of like draws his finger down his side, presses a couple spots, and then goes on it.
The breathing on it was
turns
the
on.
only part you actually had to do, of course, right? All the other stuff was just a flare. So maybe setting some levels or things like that. So
You can't let people know exactly how to do it, because then they won't need you anymore.
that's a very
Have
good
you
point.
properly adjusted the gain?
The game's not important.
Oh, okay. Do you think it operates on Discord or Twitch? Or Zoom?
I already feel so bad because I feel called out because I would have no idea how to adjust the gain in the first place. And then second, I was like, oh, I don't know which of these services we really want to use for this. So yeah, now you've got this resonator. It doesn't do anything other than just like kind of gently light up like one of those salt lamps. And as that happens, there is a change in air pressure. It feels more substantial in the area, like there's a little bit of a magnification or an amplification going on around it. And for Garamedes, this becomes more intense. Like before, you had a pretty good datasphere connection, but now you're really online. You've got broadband now, things are really zooming along, and yeah, you are in the equivalent of like a central hub, where before you were in a like poor like cellular connection. You feel much better connected now.
Ah, there we go. So you can call whoever you want, I guess.
Wow, okay. Let's do it. Let's call Verathon.
All right. So he's gonna like turn the egg in the direction he thinks the mother colony is, and then he hugs it.
Yeah, obviously that works. That's all you needed. So there's also a communications network that's been set up here in the seed colony that has a direct link to the mother colony. So maybe somewhere in there in that hug, you're like, oh, I'll just turn that on. And at that point, I'm not trying to make Kyle feel bad. In the first session, we talked about having these long distance comms where we could do this, but that doesn't mean that Jackie has an interest in this. So
Yeah,
Sure.
no, Jackie had no idea. Completely no idea. Didn't think that we could talk to them because we teleported here a very long way away.
Right. And my imagination is like Tenlau and Paragon 9 were paying intense in like concentration. They were really focusing on that conversation. Jackie was doing something else.
Yeah, that
So
was definitely the case.
it's good. So with that, the communications network, there's like a brief pause, and then a different person, shorter person with like a very close cropped beard, comes onto the screen and says, "Who's this?"
You duck.
It's Jackie.
Oh, Jackie, yes. Who are you calling for?
Verathon.
All right, I'll get them. And then there's, just a momentary screen, like a blue screen comes up for a moment. And
I think
then
that was Phil.
Verathon comes onto the screen with that very, like, triangular beard, serious face, arms crossed, even right now, taking a video call and looking at you. Jackie.
Verathon, we finally have been able to get a hold of you.
Well, good.
How are you?
Everything here is fine. How are
Oh,
you all?
that's good. We're doing really well. I have to admit, the silent chorus and the splendid form are quite difficult to make work together, but we are so pleased to have them with us at this juncture. Yes,
I see.
that was not a lie.
Well, that's good. So I see
How
that...
have you been?
Yes, everything's fine. So I see that you managed to make contact now. What is the situation like in the area? Is it dangerous?
We have made many friends.
Any signs of instability or any challenges in that regard?
No, my leadership is currently uncontested.
All right.
I think the Lattimore are having a children's dance party right now, but that is neither here nor there.
Okay. Yeah.
I have missed your stern and unforgiving embrace.
It's true. It's true. Well, if everything's going well, then I guess there's no need for further communication, but I hope you'll be able to do so more regularly.
Yes, I will make sure I reach out to you regularly. I have missed looking into your unflinching gaze.
And of course, Verathon would not smile, but Hans has to smile at that, yes.
Yeah, because that's a grinnable offense.
That's right. So with that, Verathon says, that's fine, then I'll look forward to future communication.
Wonderful. And everything is good at the mother colony? I am not missed?
No, but I'll ask. I'll see if anyone misses you.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, goodbye now.
Yes, goodbye. And whoop.
I
and
hug the thing.
Before the communication is severed, he's like, "See that? I don't get that guy. He's so like abrupt."
Oh,
So that's
really?
what he hears as it hangs up.
yeah.
Jackie's like, he was so loving and concerned. Did you not see?
I like how you see the best in people.
Mm-hmm.
He
It's
really...
it's a good thing that for a leader to have.
Okay, well, this feels great. Is there anything else that this resonator can do?
Is there?
You could probably break it a few different ways to make it do something else, but this is what it was actually intended to do in its original function.
I feel like I could probably get it to do some other things, but nothing that would help me out. So like, what's the point?
No, that's fair. Should we descend back down and see what else is going on in the time-trapped settlement?
I haven't gotten anything useful today, so sure.
Wasn't that useful? I thought that was very useful.
I can already talk to who I need to talk to, so.
Right. Okay, well, let's go.
All right, maybe we go to a different spot in there.
As there were
And
many buildings, we could have spent more time.
he's gonna grab the blanket and like wrap it over him. Like maybe they won't recognize me with this, even though his hair is still very obvious who he is.
Pretty much your entire body, just you're also wearing a blanket. It's good stuff.
I want to find some like really interesting Numenera.
Okay, I thought that was rather interesting, but let's go. I'm sure there was more in that museum you said?
We can't
would
go
you
back
like-
there.
Oh, okay. Fair.
They probably have like already posters of my face up.
That would be amazing.
Now, meanwhile, for GM Sanity, when you guys start pushing the buttons to go down in the dropship, you have pushed the same entry coordinates back in. So the dropship,
Yeah.
as you're talking, is just descending back into the same, like, small section of the city, or whatever
Yep.
is down there in that crater. And yes, to Garamedes is the city. And you find yourselves, again, presented with, I guess, 3 different options other than that building.
I picked the last time. I feel like you could pick this time.
Okay, well, let's pick the furthest one away from the museum because that probably will make Gary feel better. So I'll ping this one over here, the tiny little one to the east and south.
Yes. So you do that, and as you begin walking over that direction, this is again set back a little ways from the street or this main area, and it seems to have a gently sloping ramp that goes down. The entrance to this building, you have a ramp that goes down, and then a lip before a very large door that it seems like it would go vertically.
Like a garage door style thing.
Very much so, and especially if you want to think about like a market or like a backloading dock. This looks like a backloading dock to a building.
So we can just pilot the lovely drop ship, which we really need to name, over to it.
Yes. Are you
Oh,
going to
we
back
did
it up
name it.
or go
Okay.
forward?
No, I'll back it up.
Okay. It's important.
So Gary's in the driver's seat, and I assume Jackie just kind of like walks up and just like stares at him, expecting him to move.
If we're going to back it up, I have become an expert at this.
Okay. He just kind of gets out of the seat and just like sits there, crosses his arms,
All right,
waiting for
back
the
it
show.
up. Back it in. Let me begin.
All right. And we know backing up a dropship is a level 2 speed test.
Yes. I feel like Jackie is willing to take the chance here and will not spend it for effort. So I'll just reduce the effort by 1 here. Untrained difficulty 2. Let's see what happens. There we go.
Look at that. Very nice, very nice. Okay. Now with the buttons here, I think maybe your effort and your assets are getting stuck in there.
Mixed
But
up.
either way,
Oh,
we
I
got it
put
all
an
set.
asset in there accidentally still. You're
Yeah.
right.
So no worries. So we've got all that figured out. You back it up.
Yeah.
It gets right up there up to the lip, does not actually touch, but there's just enough space where you can step off of the dropship. It's wonderful.
I came to win, I say, and I get off the ship.
All right. And so you're just next to this big hatch, and it looks like there would be a door that would lift up vertically. There is a door there, but it is closed. Oh, and by the way, Garamedes, this on your list of things, this registers as sanitation and disinfectant.
Oh God.
Okay. I can open this.
Okay.
I am very good at that, as I've shown before. Today
There's
is
no
the
one.
day for
There's no
opening.
one here to negotiate with, so I trust you. But
Okay. Yeah, I'll just go right up to the bottom of the door and give it the old heave ho.
Let's do that. So it's a bigger, taller door. You're trying to
Oh, of
lift it
course.
higher. So
Big garage door.
yeah, this is going to be a little bit more effort. If you're going to do it by yourself, it's going to be level 4.
Oh, I should definitely have help on this, shouldn't I? Gary,
Sure.
do you want to help?
I'm not that strong. Like I can try, but I trust you to do the heavy lifting.
Okay. This is another might check. I'll spend a level of effort.
Okay. And Garamedes, are you getting down and lifting up the door as well, or are you just cheering on?
Actually, I wonder. I have a cipher called Gravity Nullifying Spray.
Yes.
So I wonder if I spray that on the door, if that'll make it easier to lift.
I'm sure it will. What's the level of the cipher?
It is a level 5.
Okay. So are you going to use that?
Yeah.
You do
Like,
that?
Okay.
This will be my contribution. And he just goes.
I wouldn't even need to test then, would I?
No, when you put your hand under the door like you're about to lift it, it
Yeah.
starts to lift up and then just disintegrates.
Can I have my might effort back?
Yeah, of course.
I was even all like, this. Well, yes. That was a good use of that spray.
I like to use my mind over my might.
Ah, why does it smell like a chicken coop, though?
Well, that's the scent I like.
Oh, okay.
I have other scents, but that's my favorite one.
Huh. Well, did the door completely like break into a or just raised?
It's just gone. There is no door now.
Yeah, it broke into a like before it caught up in time and decomposed. Yeah. Okay.
Right, that's right. So the door is
Let's
now
head in.
disintegrated. Yeah, you're heading in, and this building is very flat. It's very unforgiving and like brutalistic in terms of how it's designed. And what you have basically is an area where people can walk in. There are safety markings on the floor that are again in a language that Jackie doesn't understand, but they're all in like a very vivid orange that seems to make them clear. Like, this is the area where a vehicle backs up. Don't stand here. That sort of marking. And as you move further in, there are large tanks to the left and the right. I would say there are 4 tanks, and then there are hoses that come down to them, and they look like they could extend for quite a distance, maybe to go into a vehicle that's in the loading dock.
You said tanks, and I was literally picturing the army vehicle, and I was like, "Oh, there's 4 tanks!" And then I realized that we're in a waste disposal area, and my mental image had to shift suddenly.
I do appreciate you bringing up all the synonyms and like different ways we have to think about what our words mean, because that's important.
Yeah, I was harshly taken back to how horribly flat, black, and gray this room is, and I was like, "Right, they wouldn't be
Yeah.
army tanks."
Yeah, sorry, these aren't sanitation tanks of that kind. These are sanitation tanks. Of that kind. Your kind of sanitation means like a different kind of cleansing we're not going to do right now.
Yeah.
They roll out the tanks to make sure that people recycle.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
So
Is there anything we can see that looks interesting, like Numenera wise?
Well, I mean, who knows what fun fluids are in those tanks. If you keep going beyond that, there are large doors that look like they would go up into a further area. Like maybe they're just going to go like walkway around to the second floor.
All right. Let's explore the building,
Good stuff is always on the inside.
except for the resonator.
That was on the inside.
But it was in the first room of the inside, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Semantics.
Fair.
So these stairways, they go up to the second floor, and now this has like a bunking area. So it looks like there are just some very simple sleep bunks. It looks like maybe 4 people are up here at any given time. There's an area where there's like a food preparation, and then there's several pieces of personal equipment. And this might be more interesting. It looks like there's like a footlocker type chest, and then above that there are several sanitation devices that are more portable and hand-sized. So I'm thinking like a Ghostbusters backpack, personally, is what I'm visualizing.
Nice.
Here. So you've got 4 sets of those, and then several, like, to you, Garamedes, you're seeing them as being cleaning solutions and like different, like more like fine work, like brushes and rags and so forth. But the big Ghostbusters backpacks are probably the most interesting cleaning thing here.
This looks like a good haul. We're lucky that they must all be out on their shift.
Okay.
So we definitely want to take some of those. But maybe they've got some really interesting personal items.
Oh, okay, sure.
You want to take some of the lockers and I'll take some?
Absolutely. Let's have a look.
Excellent. So I guess we'll split up the lockers and try to open them, or not sure if they're locked or...
They're not. They're all just plain old lockers. They're not locked because we don't need to make a whole bunch of rolls on that. That doesn't sound fun. But let's start looking through what we've got here. So one is a locker that has pretty much personal effects and an older data pad. So it looks like a model that you've seen, you've seen a model of this being circulated on the data sphere, but it's really old. It's going to be the kind of slow connection that isn't fun. So I don't know if you're going to try to find any interest in that.
It's like an original iPad.
Yeah, I was thinking like an original Kindle.
Oh God, yeah. I remember those.
It's an iPhone 3.
Something just no fun at this point in time, but it still is a device.
He's definitely gonna pocket that.
Okay. Chest number 2, it looks like this person was a little bit of a personal protection freak because they've got a set of clothing that looks like it's heavily reinforced. It doesn't look like it's the kind of coverall you would use for cleaning, but maybe the sort of thing you would wear if you thought you were like a street tough. So they have like slightly armored clothing. It's going to count as light armor. They also have...
Well, I try that jacket on, but it doesn't fit my arms at all.
No, and the person who is wearing this is not nearly as long as you, so it's also like a crop top.
I feel uncomfortable in this.
It looks really good, though.
I don't. It's a 3/4 jacket with a crop top. No. Try to worm my way out of it.
Yeah.
Put it in the dropship. Somebody else can have it.
It looks like it might fit a Silent Chorus member, but they probably won't wear it since they all have to wear the same thing. So.
Oh, then it will go on Paragon.
Yeah, maybe, right? He gained a couple inches last time. Who knows how that'll fit?
But it was just in the legs.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. So another thing you find in this personal protection person's stuff is you find a buzzer, which is like a disc shooting gun.
Oh, I thought it was like a buzzer. You push the staples thing. That was easy.
Right. That would also be nice.
Yours is so much cooler.
I used the Numenera term in the book, the buzzer. So yeah, it's a small, like, handheld disc shooting gun.
It's pretty cool. I think we might be able to trade for something with it.
Or, attack things that are trying to attack us. This is great. Put that
Well, if you want to, I'll let you have it. I don't mind.
I think we can just bring it back and help build the defense of the settlement with a buzzer.
Sure.
I don't think it's as powerful as you think it is.
Oh, okay. It goes pew pew, so I figured it would be useful at least.
Maybe for stemming the pest problem.
Oh, okay.
Box number 3 has a few personal effects, like little things like, like maybe like a shaving cream or something like that, and some hand lotion, a pair of glasses for like eye protection glasses. And then it also has a blinking nodule cipher. So this is like a crystal nodule that can be affixed to a piece of armor or something like that. Garamedes, you want to go ahead and roll a d6 for me?
Sure. Just a d6?
Yeah. Okay, so
That
it's
is a 3.
Yeah, so level 3 blinking nodule. This is a Numenera discovery. On the PDF, it's page 278 if you guys are interested. But basically, it means that your defenses are going to be 1 step eased for... Does that make sense? Dun. Yeah, so you have 1 step easier for making a defense roll when you're wearing this, basically.
Nice.
Which book is that in?
That's right. That's the correct one to advertise. And on a print page, it is on page 276.
Excellent.
Really, I think Monte Cook Games needs to get like a promotional picture of Kyle wearing his Jackie mask, holding the Discovery book, because that's a good session right there.
Just clip that. Blinking nodule.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Okay, and your...
Can we attach this blinking nodule to the armor but not turn it on yet? Or is it only when it's attached to the armor that it becomes effective?
So, yes and yes. So you can attach it whenever you want. It only becomes effective when you actually use it. The cipher limit is always in play. So keep in mind, if you're at your cipher limit, it's always a good idea to think about leaving something behind unless you want to roll on the random table of mishaps.
I just thought it'd be really cool to affix it to the jacket and then give it to Paragon 9 without him knowing that the blinking thing is there. And then when he goes into combat and gets hit, he just gets ported away.
Yes,
not
that's
even
how you
knowing.
find out if your fellow players watched a session they missed or not. So that's definitely something you can do.
I love it. So I feel like in that situation, Jackie would have found that, and Garamedes would have kind of been like, after Jackie does something with it.
Oh, did you want to do something with it?
No, it's just Gary's interested in all types of things, and It seems intriguing, but I love your idea, so I'm not going to force the issue.
Yeah. Now your last one, the last box, it's very, very heavy. And when you go to pick it up, you can hear something like slide to the side and like go thunk against the wall of it.
Weight definitely means it's good.
Excellent. I kind of feel like this was also the first trunk, but because it was so heavy, Jackie's like, and just moved away. And
And so now Garamedes has found it last. Is that how it goes?
yeah.
So I'm thinking you're going to open it up. When you do, there is like some currency. It's actually all paper currency, so you know this is super old because that hasn't happened for a while. But then in addition to just like some currency and like a personal clip, there is a large device that has a lot of like energy storing coils all around it. And it looks like at one point this device was probably like either very newly purchased because there's like a coating tag on it, or if not very newly purchased, maybe just purloined because it doesn't look like it's ever been used and like it's been stuck in a footlocker for some time.
Nice. See, this looks like it's important. And looks like it's worth the trip.
Yeah.
Excellent.
How
What is
heavy exactly is it?
This is about 60 pounds, so it's heavy,
Oof.
but not uncarryable. Do you want to roll a d6 for its level?
Sure.
Jackie's going to collect all the personal currency in the money clip as well.
Okay, you've got that. That's no problem. So this is a level 4 cipher that is a lightning wall projector. And in
Ooh,
Numenera
nice.
Discovery, that's page 282 in print, 284 on the PDF. But it basically creates a wall of electric bolts that is 30 by 30 by 1 foot. And it inflicts, in this case, 4 points of damage on anything that passes through it.
Jackie, you think you might be able to help me carry this back to the ship?
Of course.
Now I'm just imagining the height difference and trying to carry something with a shorter person when...
Oh, but I have
It's
really
heavy.
long arms, so it balances.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So you guys bump carry it down the stairs and stick it into the drop ship. It's very nice and heavy, and it's, you know, that thing where you hit it on your chest or shins every time you're moving down, up or down the step. So super fun.
I'm glad we came back, and I'm glad no one was here, because this is a good haul.
Like, yes. Is it? What is this thing with the weird coils?
Now, would I know what it is, or should I like have to roll to see if my character knows?
So the way I'm thinking about it right now, since I know you're trained in understanding Numenera and you have an asset to everything in this area, I was just kind of telling you because I figured these are level 0 tasks
Okay.
for you at this point.
Sure. Okay. Well,
This does some really cool stuff, but I don't want to worry you with the details. Like, trust me, it'll be fun.
Okay, that sounds great. So we've been here for a little while, and we've seen a museum and now some sort of place that cleans things. What is this settlement all about, Gary? What's going on here? What were these people trying to do?
I don't know, keep the museum clean? Show off some cool stuff?
Do you think that this place was always at the bottom of this cliff? Or was there some sort of upheaval many years ago that caused them to be... I am assuming... Kyle is assuming that because every time I've interacted with a lot of the physicality of the place, it's been... Anytime I've forced it, it's exploded into our current time in dust. So I can assume that this place is currently still trapped in time. Is that a good assumption?
Are you discussing this with Garamedes or are you asking me?
Yeah, I was kind of asking you based on what assumptions I've made.
I feel
whether
like
or
your
not
assumptions are totally on board with what you know about this place right now.
Okay, cool. And so I'll discuss that with Garamedes.
So I guess the question is, since Garamedes is kind of also like 1,500 years in the past, does he see the cliff, or does he see kind of like stuff off into the distance? Like it's not, or is that something that would even make sense for like where he is in the time slip?
That's a great question. You don't see the cliff. You do see a normal level ground. So yeah, you're seeing two very different things, and this is part of your fun intellect damage. Is there's so much stuff going on in your brain.
So like yeah, after they get back to the ship and he looks out and he's just like he sees like when you're looking at something and like you can only like the item is only in kind of like one eye, so like when you close it you can't see it, but when you open it you kind of see like a mirror so he sees that when he's looking at the cliff, so it's like it's kind of there but kind of not, and he's like, I know we came down, yeah, I don't think this was always down here.
Wow. Whatever happened? I am very intrigued. A museum and a waste disposal place is not really the best places to kind of get a feel for what's happening here. Let's see some of these other buildings. How many buildings can you currently see, Gary?
How many buildings do I see? Just
So
the 4?
Yeah, you just see these 4 in this immediate area, and when you start trying to look beyond that, you get like this very good sensation of dizziness and vertigo. It's almost like you could see those buildings, but at the same time, it really, really hurts.
He's like, I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. I just wait patiently.
He's just like sitting there looking down. He looks up at you, focuses on you, and is like, maybe we go check out one of the other buildings then?
Like you'll get back to me on that because it's not something you can physically. Okay, that's fine. Let's go check out the building that's nearby here.
Sounds good to me.
I hop into the back of the dropship.
Yeah. So we want this building right over here. The one that's
Sure.
on the same side of the street.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Good, good, good. So
Is there any paper or anything that's also trapped in time on the street, like a bit of rubbish or anything like that?
no, the street's been surprisingly clean. Everything out here that looks like it's ephemeral or peripheral has been pretty much blown away or gone in whatever fashion.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah, just that little bit of paper money that you found.
You
And
really
that-
like paper, don't you?
Well, it was interesting, and it is a unique item because I could manipulate it, and it didn't crumble into dust, or did it?
It did not.
It must be that new plastic money.
Just don't get it too cold.
Yeah, fair. I didn't know that was a thing. Is that a thing?
I think when they first came out with the plastic money in Canada, somebody showed that if it gets really, really cold, it just cracks.
Cool. I'll have to put one in a freezer.
It might have been like impossibly cold, like not something you could use in a freezer, like
Oh, all right.
chemically cold.
All right.
But whatever.
Liquid nitrogen, something like that.
Potentially.
Pull my money out of the
I
freezer.
was gonna say, otherwise, couldn't you just leave it outside at this time of year and you'd be fine? I mean, no more snow.
Ouch. That hurts.
Yeah,
Much-
because it's cold
much
outside.
like the cold of the wind hurts my face as well. But in Calgary, the weather is actually quite lovely right now.
Oh,
so.
that's good. It's
Like
lovely in
Canada
California as
cold,
well.
funny.
There's probably parts where that's true, right?
Yes, no, absolutely.
So, good fun. All right, so we are looking at building 3, and according to
Yes.
Garamides' information, this is a government office.
Ooh.
This is the place then.
Yes. In my experience, governments always are hiding something good.
I will have to figure that out for our own city hall then.
So we're going to call this public services on what we see on our overlay or our like datasphere map. And as you approach it, unlike all of the other buildings, this one has like an open portico type area, so there is no door.
Okay.
And as you go into it, there is a set of doors in the center of this that goes like deeper into the building, and it is open. So there are no doors to roll on at all.
I'm disappointed.
I can make you a door if you really want.
No, I mean it's fine. I just, Thought today was a good door opening day.
I feel like at this point too, after like seeing the cliff that's not a cliff, and the other stuff that's giving him headaches, he's kind of figured out that some of the stuff he's seeing might not be real. So as they're like walking into the building, he like walks by a person and kind of like reaches out to touch them, and his hand passes through them, and he's like,
Then
there might be ghosts here.
here comes one of the really fun thing, because as you walk through the door, Jackie sees and Garamedes sees there's a person who is frozen mid-stride. Their face is stricken with terror, and they have like dove into the building. So they're slightly off the ground, like arm out, legs outstretched behind them, and
Nice.
their hair is still pulled back, kind of flying back like this. The clothing is simple, but like close fitting. They've got wide pants that come down to about knee level, and then like a close fitting top. Everything's primary colors, very basic, but there's like a pattern or design around the bottom of the pants and around the trim of the top right here. So there's just a little bit of style here. They have smudges or maybe scorch marks on their skin as well. Not a lot, just near their hands and right here on the outside of their forearms.
Oh, okay, Gary, don't touch them, because we don't want to bring them forward to our time and horribly, debilitatingly die.
They're not real. I tried to
Don't
touch
touch
this
them.
other. I touched this other person, and my hand went right through him.
But look at the trim around their pants, and look at their hair. Look, and
Wait
it's
a
not
second.
glowing.
You
They're a
can
person.
see that person too.
Yes.
Are you crazy too now?
Let's go with the fact that this person hasn't come forward in time yet, and they are trapped in the bubble because the world around them hasn't interacted with them in any way, shape, or form to cause them to come forward. So they're still stuck here, and we don't want to bring them so many years forward in the future that even like doors crumble into dust. Imagine what would happen to their corporeal being.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
What we need to do is find something that'll allow us to keep them in their time and place, and not necessarily suffer the entropy that would be caused upon them for the 1500 years of time travel.
That was well said.
God, do I wish Tenlau was here.
Well, I don't have anything like that.
Me neither.
And I wish we still had that gravity spray. Maybe we could have floated them behind us or something.
I think moving them at all is going to cause them to interact with the time wibbly wobbly. I don't know the words.
Timey-wimey, I don't know.
Timey wimey. That was what I was looking for. I don't watch Doctor Who though.
Willy Wally was also part of it.
Yes.
I guess Garamedes is going to look at this person and then try to focus on the people in the past. Do they look like they're wearing similar style clothing?
Yeah, this all looked somewhat similar to you, but in your mind it would have been like maybe like a cutting fashion, like something newish. This person's wearing it like these clothes look worn. They look like they've been used. They don't look like they're something that was very expensive.
All right. So they're definitely part of the same time period he's seeing.
I don't know if we want to head in any further, too, because this might be a trap, or we might get stuck.
No, I think we should be fine. I have had experiences where we have approached an individual who was interacting with time, and I have been around it before. As long as we don't physically interact with that individual, we should be okay.
Oh, is this a common problem around here?
Very common.
Good to know. Do we look
I wonder, though,
around?
like, yeah. Anyway, Kyle wonders if like the air molecules that we're interacting with right now bump into the other air molecules.
Oh
until
God.
there's a cascade of air molecules that are now suddenly interacting and hit that person, and then that causes everything to happen. Or if it's much more temporal than that sort of thing.
Man, I'm so glad I don't have to come up with a system that deals with air molecule collisions and stuff like that. I think we should just stick with no. That's just so much easier for all of us.
You don't want to do like the math on how much time it'll take for our breath to disintegrate that person?
No, that's like a Rollmaster table somewhere. I don't want to do that.
It would be Twitch streaming at its finest.
Let's sit here for 1 hour rolling percentile die and doing algebra and calculus to figure out if this happens.
That's right. That's right. That was the real reason we came to stream today, was to do that.
Yes.
Of course, it's always a ploy to get people to love math.
God, I love
Okay,
that.
now I gotta admit, there's a part of me that wants to do this now, and we're definitely not doing it. Just the part where we're talking about loving math, I'm like, well, I do. Oh no, we're not doing that. So yeah, this person seems fine, and it does seem to be entirely temporal energy based, is what your experience has been, because
Yeah.
we've never seen that happen to anybody before.
Yeah. So we'll skirt them at the approximately necessary distance so that we're not creating air gusts past them and whatnot as we try to move around them into the building.
Okay. Yeah, and this is a big building with a wide opening here in the front that you've walked into. So, it's like if you walked into any other sort of like market or thing like that. And they're right inside the front door. There's lots of space around them. And then there's a long, what's the term I'm looking for? Like a counter that's at the back wall here that has an opposing curve. So the wall curves in, the counter curves out, and no one is there. The rest of this front area is empty of people.
The person that is frozen in time was running into the building, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. Frozen in time right at the moment of whatever apocalyptic event occurred.
Would make sense.
It totally makes sense.
Gary is definitely like pressed up against the wall.
I love that. I love that.
As soon as he heard like we might disintegrate this person, he's like, "Oh no."
I'm imagining the Emperor's New Groove, and this is Kronk like, sidling along the wall, your own theme song being sung by yourself. So yeah, great.
Nice.
Yeah.
So there's a counter.
And Jackie just walks quietly beside him.
Yeah. So you've got a counter, you've got kind of a floating staircase that comes up over the top of the counter to a surrounding area. The upper level has that ring that overlooks this central well, and it looks like there's a couple of doors up there. This counter that's right in front of you, it has a data console terminal right there.
All right. Don't know if it's still working, but maybe we try connecting in and seeing what is in this place.
Yes, let's do that. Boop, 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 boop thing.
Yes.
So
I'm so good at that.
he's gonna try to use that display to see if he can get an idea of what is in this building.
Okay, so you've got a terminal. The terminal's inert. There's no power going into it.
Oh, okay.
Is the terminal trapped in time too? Would you be accessing the data sphere stream place, the place where the numbers live? Would you be accessing it from 1500 years ago or from today? If we were to power it up.
I don't know.
We need to power this up. Would those coils that you had in the dropship work to power this up?
I don't know if I really want to go all the way back there and carry that thing back.
It's like 20 feet.
It's heavy.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really a manual labor guy.
I mean, I'll go get it. It's fine. Or if you want to just move on and go upstairs to see if we can find something that's powered up still upstairs, that's fine by me too.
Yeah, I feel like those coils would not really help in this situation.
Ah, okay. Well, let's go upstairs then. Since we
Okay.
don't have any way of powering this on.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Upstairs we go.
All right. So you do that. You go upstairs. There's that very thin ring, and then there are four rooms that have doors that enter into this area. One of them has the door already akimbo, ajar. It's open.
Cool. I let Gary talk to himself for a few minutes. And then we go upstairs. And into the akimbo door.
So the door
What are you
is-
doing? You don't never take the obvious entrance. Let's try one of the unopened ones.
But then it'll just explode into dust. So I figured if we went in the open door, it would be just a little bit easier.
All right, it's your funeral.
Okay.
So the door that's partially open is open about this far. So you won't quite be able to squeeze in there by yourself. So you're going to have to do something with the something.
I will do part of the something and allow Gary to do the other something.
So you're both like gently touching the door and
Yeah.
slowly creaking it open. That seems fine. Everything's fine.
It moves.
Yeah, it moves like it's in molasses.
Oh,
it just
cool.
moves slowly and just keeps
Okay.
going. And it's done.
And it doesn't crumble to dust this time.
No dust this time.
Huh.
Well, that's interesting.
Interesting. I feel like we said that at the same time as we slowly opened our sides of the door. And then we're like, oh.
It was very good. So this room
What-
has a large desk that's made out of like a single sheet of metal. So it's very bright and shiny and again, kind of brutalistic. And on top of it is a blue crystal sphere. So it's like a hemisphere, I should say. It's a half sphere that's sitting here on the desk. And it is gently pulsing light throughout this room.
Oh, that's very nice.
Light is usually a good sign.
Yes.
Is it anything that like Gary would recognize?
So you're like data sphere searching, thinking about what you know about this settlement, going through some like quick Google image searches. Nothing is immediately hitting your satisfaction. You come up with like 4 different possibilities what this could be. I would say for this one, if you want to make a difficulty 1 roll, you can try to narrow that down some more.
Sounds good. Difficulty 1. I'll just say untrained. Oh, what happened?
Wow, you got a 2 on a difficulty 1 roll. Or is that something different? Never mind. I'm seeing the
Yeah,
different
that
number.
was-
I
that was
down
the-
a level.
Let's step further.
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah,
15 is much better.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 and a D6.
Well, for a second there, I got confused. Yeah, that's my fault.
Yeah.
I was confused as well.
So, okay. So you're looking at it, and you're pretty sure this is a beacon of some sort that is active currently. If you had to describe it, it's probably an image projector. So a couple things immediately come to mind. One is whatever the battery is in this thing, you don't know if it's universal, but it clearly still has power. And number 2, whatever is on, someone is trying to send this message because it's basically in like an alert phase right now.
Okay.
Oh, that's amazing.
So this is a cipher that's been activated and is currently running, if you want to think about it that way.
Is there anything like so we can see the thing that's trying to send?
Yeah, it's like if you walk into this radius that the image projector can deal
Oh,
with,
okay.
you'll set off the alert.
Yeah, so he would have definitely moved up to check it out.
Okay. Is Jackie also moving up as Gary moves up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you move up, and then suddenly sound cuts in as like a terrifying wall of like, you can hear a siren blaring in the background, someone is screaming, there's a door slamming, you may have heard a burst of artillery fire like in the background, but whatever's going on, it happens so quickly, and then it gets quiet suddenly, and there's a person speaking, and you can see their face. They come into frame here. They are bald on top of their head, their skin is a very pale blue, their eyes are huge and luminous, and they're looking directly at the camera, and they say, "It's gone too far. They've decided that there's no way that the situation will be safe. If you're in the city, make sure you leave now. If you get this message, it's already too late. I don't know what's going to happen. But if you find this message, stay away."
I got tingles.
You saw that, right?
Yes?
I just want to make sure. I
Have
was
you
seeing
seen this
people.
person before?
They don't look familiar to me.
What happened here? Were they doing some sort of temporal experiment or something, some sort of experiment somewhere, and then got attacked, and now this is what happened?
Well, they definitely aren't on the same level as they used to be.
No.
So something definitely went down.
Yeah, there is definitely nothing on the level here. So, wow. Well, I mean, can we take this cipher with us? Can we play it again? Are there any details we might have overlooked from hearing it?
Sure, he just like pokes the thing.
Yeah, so you poke the thing. You've looked at it now. So this is a recording. It's like the final time slice. You think with some tinkering, there might have been older fragments here back in time, and it might be just data degradation. You may be able to get one back, but at the same time, it might just wipe the whole memory.
Maybe we bring this back and look at it a little more carefully later.
Okay. Yeah, and it can be moved without any, it hurting itself?
I don't know. Does it look like it?
Well, so far it's been running with under its own power, so it seems like it's stayed temporally active because you all were able to interact with it.
Right.
Sure. Yeah, I think it'll be okay.
Phew. Okay, well, let's bring it back. Put it in the dropship and go on from there.
Yeah, I know it was your idea. Okay?
Thank you.
What?
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 Who?
To the next room.
Okay.
Okay, so are you leaving this device here while you go explore other rooms?
I was going to take it downstairs and drop it off in the dropship.
It's done. And now you're going to go to one of the other doors and try to open those?
You bet.
Okay. So when you try the next door, which all
Yeah.
seem to like open outwards and be normal, like, interior room of the present day type doors,
Yeah.
it is stuck in time.
Okay, interesting. I mean, that flies with everything else that's been going on. So, but the locker doors that we were opening and whatnot, they didn't seem to be stuck in time, or they were as well.
The lockers also seem to be somewhat immune.
Okay, well, I will haul on the door, cause it to probably.
Yep. You pop it and it just goes.
So sad for the loss of all these doors.
Not very good quality construction.
Well, I mean, you try being in the same place for 1,500 years. Look as good, you will not.
I don't have the time for that.
Winking was appropriate there. That was good. So this room looks similar in function to the room you were last in. It again seems to be some sort of personal office where it has like the long metal table, a simple chair in the back. There's a data terminal there, which is again inert. And
Yeah.
there's nothing else really exciting about this room.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, just an empty room. Yeah.
I have a theory. It seems like most of the stuff that we touch that allows us to move it without disintegrating happens to be in a somewhat proximity to some Numenera.
That
Oh,
sounds like a
interesting.
theory Nana would have, yeah.
So I'm wondering if that might be what helps keep it somewhat caught up with our time.
Okay.
It's my hypothesis. We shall test it.
Do you think that if we brought a Numenera device over to something that was trapped in time, that it would free it and we could interact with it then? Or
That is a perfectly acceptable experiment.
because, yeah, the doors that were akimbo, that we were able to open them, they didn't explode into dust just recently, and there was the device that was there. So if we go get the device and bring it back, see if we can interact with the other doors in the facility and see what happens.
Yeah.
I like
Also, if you have any ciphers on your person, you could always use those too. It's all up to you guys.
Yeah, I've got my visage changer, but it's not currently active. So
Definitely using a cipher will destroy it. Not destroy it, but it won't work anymore. So
yeah,
might be better to grab that artifact.
yeah. Grab the artifact that. Yeah, that's what I'll grab. I'll grab the one that we were just looking at, the half hemisphere that has the messages.
Yeah, so you bring the image
Bring it
projector
over.
back upstairs. You go up to door 3 out of 4, and you are trying to hold it near the door and open the door at the same time?
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna hold it near the door. I'll give it to Gary to hold it over the door, and then I'll try to open the door. See what happens.
Let's say that works. So you turn the door, you pull it open, the door is an intact piece and swings to the side.
Wow,
Success!
Gary, you're so smart. I'm so glad that you came here. I don't even really
Stunning.
care about what's inside this room. I'm like, we need to test this on a few other things so that we can take it over to that person that's frozen and see if we can bring them back.
I already forgot about that person.
Oh, no, that person is definitely real.
But they're not Numenera, so...
But neither is a door.
Yes, but doors lead to Numenera.
But this person can tell us what they were doing here and what was going on, and we would save them from potentially getting interacted with. And I don't know enough about these sorts of things. Audible swallow. Yeah, I tried to audibly swallow, so then I couldn't. So I was like, no, I will just actually swallow. Say the words.
So I guess Gary at least will go into that room. I don't know if Jackie wants to follow.
Very good.
Yeah,
So this is the door
Jackie
we
will
just
stay.
opened, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, depressingly similar office. The difference in this one is that in addition to the data terminal, there is a cup that is turned over on the table, and there is a maybe it's like slightly brownish liquid that's poured over a lot of the table and started to run down to the floor, but it has stopped as it got to that point.
Nice.
It's frozen in time. Take the device over and see if the fluid begins to interact with the world again.
You're gonna clean up the mess though if it happens, right?
I'm not planning on living here.
Well, you can't make a mess and not clean it up.
That is fair, but I am not the one who knocked the cup over, so
That
I
is
will
also
be
a
the one
good
to clean
point. He goes over and holds the device near it.
Yeah. So the device comes over to it, the liquid starts to spill onto the floor, and also there's gentle steam coming off of it.
Oh.
Very interesting.
Jackie will run a finger through the liquid and taste it.
It is disgustingly bitter.
I quite like it.
I feel
Oh
you
god,
there. I feel you.
that's all we need is this character on caffeine.
Yeah, okay. An empty room otherwise than a spilled cup of coffee. No person in here, or if they were, then time has caught up to them, but not the coffee.
That's right.
All right,
I'm going
I
to
guess-
and then Jackie coughs a couple times. And it's like, that 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 flavoring has caused me to cough a bit. It's kind of like a coffee sort of liquid.
You found it, so you get to name it.
Excellent.
And that's where
Coffee it
coffee came
is.
from. So good.
Reintroduced back into the world 1 billion years later.
That's right. That's a level 10 Numenera, though. You guys don't want to have to go after that.
No.
It lets you pass through walls, though, if you drink enough.
I believe it.
Do we want to go back downstairs now that we've seen how this device brings people forward in time safely? Or do you want to do door 4?
We've got one more door. I can't leave a door unopened.
Okay. I will hold the device and you can open the door.
But I'm used to holding the device.
But you don't want to leave the door unopened, right?
But you can do it, right?
Of course I can.
I don't want to steal your thunder. I just need the door opened.
Yes, exactly. But I want to go downstairs and save that person, so deal with that door.
He's just gonna hold the device and walk up to the door himself and try to open it because he doesn't trust that Jackie's not gonna just walk away with the device.
So you're like palming it against your chest and opening the door.
like
The door opens.
This is the most awkward thing you could do.
The
Yeah.
light is starting to fade out of the device. You've
Oh,
seen
no.
it dim by a very noticeable degree.
That's not good.
do I get the door open?
Yeah, door's open.
So he goes,
All right, if you want this, you can have it now.
Okay, thank you. I will dash downstairs.
Okay.
Like
and it's
literally
shining at
jump.
maybe half of its previous brightness at this point.
Yeah, we're going to lose this device, no doubt, and not get the other snippets of time that it contained, but I feel like if we can save the person,
Might
we'll
be
have
just
those
as good.
snippets of time anyway. So Jackie will actually jump off, because there's that open courtyard, right? And jump off, not even take the stairs, and glide down, because I control gravity.
You do.
And longing to fly and falling nonetheless, Jackie will land next to the person and hold the device out gently and gingerly, while Gary looks inside the room. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Okay, so Garamedes, you look inside the fourth depressing office room with the very similar desk, the chair behind. This one has 2 guest chairs in front of the desk as well. That's about the most interesting thing, unfortunately.
so he's like walks in, he's just like, just kind of like takes his time going back to where the person is.
Not every door has a prize.
And Jackie's reaching that hemisphere out towards the person, and the person is like frozen in time, jumping to the side like this. And as the hemisphere approaches, you're probably going to need a speed test to handle this person being about 2 feet off the ground, and you're holding the hemisphere, and they're falling forward in time.
Oh
Okay.
God, that's gonna hurt.
Maybe not Jackie, but maybe them. Yeah.
I will spend effort, of course.
Okay. So I think this is a level 3 speed test for the number of things you're juggling.
Wow. Okay. I don't have an asset on this. I am untrained, and it's difficulty 3.
Yep. And our hazards here are breaking the crystal or the person becoming injured.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want the person to be injured, but I don't want to break the crystal. So we'll see what happens here. I mean, it's difficulty 2 now, so I should be able to achieve this if I roll reasonably.
Ooh.
Nope.
Okay, now, with all of those experience points you've been hoarding, you can do a reroll if you want.
Yeah, let's spend an experience point and reroll.
There
There
we
we
go.
Much better.
17.
Much better. So this person, as soon as you bring the crystal close enough, they were apparently jumping with some force because they accelerate quickly and almost go past you. You kind of fumble the first grab them the second time. You're still holding the crystal, and you have to kind of roll on your back, and they fall on top of you as this happens.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
everything is nice off contact.
Cushioning them and the crystal in my long arms, sliding on the ground.
Yeah. So all that came together okay. And they're looking around very frantic, very concerned. Their eyes are wide. You can smell that little bit of terror coming off of them, and their hair is fallen down across their face. And they say something, and you have no idea what they said.
I just use the one hand that's wrapped around them to like hold the back of their head and gently rub it and whisper, "They're there," as like gently as possible. And we just lay there for a moment.
Okay. So we're looking at level 3 difficulty, positive social interaction, intellect task here.
Okay. Yeah. So Jackie.
You were frozen in time, and I'm a interesting bird person, but everything is fine.
And it's difficulty 3, right?
Difficulty 3.
Okay. I'm trained.
Yes, that's good.
I think that, again, this is just I don't think I've got much effort. I kept remembering. Oh no, we've had downtime between, because I did the speeches and everything, right?
Yeah. It's been like a month.
Okay.
You've definitely recovered
All
tools between last session and this session.
Okay, well then I'll expend an effort on my intellect pool, which only costs me 1 because I have edge, or 2, sorry, because I've got edge in it, right?
Yep, that's right.
So that gives me 1 level of effort. I don't have any assets, but I am trained. So there we go. Let's see what this looks like.
Oh,
Wow. Well, there goes another experience point.
That's what they're there for, though.
there we go.
Hey. Roll 20 only rolls high or low, so that's perfect.
It's just a roller coaster of emotions.
It really is. But so the good news is this person is now calming down, and you are at like a fairly neutral, like social position with them now. They may not be that excited to see you, but on the other hand, they're not actively running away.
Right.
And about this time, Garamedes has probably reached the bottom of the staircase.
Oh, so it worked.
They're there.
Hello?
Shh, Gary, this person has come forward in time. They're very, very confused. I'll get up and help them up too.
Okay. Yeah, and they get up off of you, and they're standing there and just looking concerned and confused.
But they don't seem to be able to speak the same language that we're speaking.
They don't speak the same language you're speaking, correct?
Yeah.
I'm Gary.
He's like doing this in front of their face now.
Yeah, they don't like that. How is Gary with people? Is Gary good with people?
He doesn't have an inability, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's a great conversationalist. He's got like the like unsettling physicality that probably doesn't bother Jackie, but probably would bother other people.
Yeah, it's fair. I feel like that. I feel like that's an accurate description myself sometimes. So yeah, they haven't taken to you in any way. They've backed up. They're keeping a little bit of distance between you and them. They seem unsettled.
Are they broken?
He says to Jackie.
Well, the traumatic event was occurring. They thought they were going to die, Gary. We need to... It's interesting, though, because when we caught the message above earlier, we could understand their words, right?
Yeah.
And has the light finally gone out in the cipher that I'm holding?
Yeah, it has.
Rats. Maybe we can power it back up, though.
I think we used the last of its final juices to bring coffee and this person forward in time. And I think that we all know which is the better thing to have brought forward.
Which one?
Yes.
Okay. So we brought them back. Hooray.
Do, do we?
Well, let's put them in the dropship with the rest of the things we've gathered up from this place, and then and we can see if we can converse with them and at least find out what happened or bring them up to speed.
In an interrogation.
Why that seems so. Maybe just a conversation?
They have questions. I mean, we have questions. They have answers. An interrogation.
No, I don't doubt that the actual use of the term is correct, but connotatively it's, yeah, I'll do the talking.
How else do you get answers to your questions?
Usually in a roundabout way, you get them to want to tell you those sorts of things.
Well, I guess everybody has their own ways.
It's true, but there's the coils and the other things for you to play with and tinker with while I have a chat with our friend.
That's a good idea.
So after that conversation, there's a long period of time where you're trying to explain to this person what's going on and to get them in the dropship, and there's a lot of hesitation. But over time, They do move into the dropship and get seatbelted in, and you're able to take the craft and start lifting up through the mist. There are a lot of like anxious exclamations and like fearful movements on their part as they see that there's this large bank of mist as they rise up into what you would now think of as being like the ground level.
Home. Yeah.
Right. And in the distance, you can see the settlement. As you're starting to approach it with the dropship, the portal is open. There is a column of people moving through. They're all wearing uniforms.
Broken Arrow?
Yes. It is the Broken Arrow. And you're catching the end of a looping relay transmission that's going out in your short communications hub here. And it's very quick. It's a clip of Jackie saying, how did this exactly go? There was something where you said, something like it's dangerous, or something like, oh no, we're having trouble getting the two groups to communicate. Something like that is how that exact phrase went. But so there's this quick clip of Jackie saying, we're having trouble getting the two groups to work together. And then Verathon coming over and saying, because of the difficulties the seed colony is experiencing, I'm calling for a military control until these matters can be resolved. I'll be bringing the Broken Arrow through immediately. And this is just like playing over and over again on this short loop as you see the Broken Arrow start coming through the portal. And of course at their head is Verathon.
Yeah.
And we're going to end with the dropship like landing into that scene and all this stuff going on.
Nice.
Yeah.
So good fun. Good fun.
Oh man, that was awesome.
Thank you guys.
Jackie's
for
happy
playing
their
as always.
boyfriend is here.
That's right. There's so many good things going on in the situation now. You're going to have to figure out how to communicate with a person from a distant time and land. We've got all sorts of cool trinkets that are left here in the dropship so far to divvy up as we need to. And now we get the Broken Arrow here.
Yep.
So good stuff. Let's see. For people who are playing and watching and so forth, next week on March 17th, not because it's St. Patrick's Day, there's a stream I'm going to do in the evening for Welcome to the Party for their Triple V game. I Visible, Valiant, Victorious, something like that. And it's going to be in the evening, so I don't know if I'll do a stream in the morning and a stream in the evening. That's probably going to be a lot. But I'll let everybody know what the plan is for that. And then for you guys, if you want to take 4 experience points for completing this chapter of the story, we'll do that. And one of these days, Kyle will read about character advancement and see if he wants to take any of those things.
Yeah, I'll definitely. I have 15 experience points. I need to do stuff with them, so.
Yeah.
If only they were like ciphers and they exploded when you put too many together.
The funny thing is, like, because Jackie's a Jack and can be good at something at that game session, oftentimes I can find, like, oh, I'm good at that thing. That's the thing that's relevant to this game session, and so it hasn't been too unwieldy to not have any experience points spent on this character.
I know how you feel with it. Let's see. So as we finish up this stream, I want to pitch the channel over to a different channel. Does anybody have any recommendations for places we can go? Right now, the only group I know that I'm seeing is Rivals of Waterdeep on D&D, and they're a great group of people, but I don't think they need the raid. So, any smaller channels anybody knows?
I can double check that right now. I don't see any that are currently active.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Neither do
anybody
I.
else who happens to be in chat, and if you know a channel that you want to show some love to, just let us know.
I mean, the one good thing about rating something like Rivals of Waterdeep is that the people who are watching will then know who we are and that we exist. So there is the
sure.
True.
that.
So I'm good either way.
Yep.
I know there's
I
like a
have
10-second
spelled out
difference.
coffee properly in chat as well.
You have it, yes. That's the correct Numenera way of spelling coffee, apparently.
Exactly.
The real question is, if you do enough dives down there, will you find an adequate coffee supply for your colony?
Oh God,
That's
yeah.
what we're all here for,
Or-
right?
Exactly. that river that we haven't realized yet is actually the Kicking Horse River.
Kicking Horse River.
Yeah, because that's a coffee brand.
Oh,
Kicking
very
Horse.
nice. Okay. Good
Maybe
stuff.
that's a Canadian thing.
It might be.
I don't drink coffee, so I don't know anything about it.
I don't drink coffee either. I don't know anything.
I drink coffee, and I haven't heard of that one, so
It's a good one.
yeah, it
My
sounds
wife
like
drinks
It's
it
got a
all the
horse in it.
time.
Very cool. Okay,
This
well,
stream has not been brought to you by Kicking Horse Coffee.
right. But maybe next stream will be. We'll see. You never know.
Maybe.
Yeah, reach out to them. Will you sponsor our Numenera game?
Well, let's go ahead and try to raid with D&D, and we'll see how that goes.
Nice.
Perfect.
I cannot
Well,
read
if
this
we're doing
channel.
that,
Okay, apparently you can't
thank
do
you
that.
so much, Hans, for running this game yet again.
Yes.
Yeah, you're welcome. And Quixotic, great having you join us. Thanks for joining us. I can't do
It
a
was
raid
very fun.
to D&D. Very interesting. Maybe they're just too big. Okay, so I don't have anybody kick this channel back to. So if you guys were watching with us and you want to go check out Rivals of Waterdeep, they're on D&D. And for you guys, again, thanks very much. We're going to go ahead and turn off the broadcasting thing.